I had actually been helping the Office of Special Affairs out of the Vice President's office with setting up an anti-defamation league. I was asked to help out, and I was actually asked to be the executive director of it. And our purpose was to handle black PR in the media. And I'm not sure if it was from OSA or from who, but I heard about Bob Minton. I'm not really sure where, but I heard about him, and I actually spread incredibly bad things about him. I never met him. I never knew him, but I'd heard that he had set up this trust here in Clearwater, and I told people I was sure, positive that he was paid by the Sykes to actually hurt Scientology. And I would like to say to Bob Minton, I'm very, very sorry for what I said. I never knew the man. When I met him, he's actually a very kind man. He's a very fun man, and he really does care about people a lot. And he is not paid by the Sykes. So that was totally untrue, and I'm sorry for what I said. My nickname was Magoo. I was on the internet, and I posted, Magoo left the building, just meaning that's it, I'm done. And I started looking to find someone to talk to. And when you leave Scientology, it's very tricky because you can't just pick up a phone and say to your friends, I want to leave Scientology. That just doesn't work. And I really didn't have anybody to talk to. And I knew Stacy Brooks, and I had sent her an email. She invited me to come stay out and just rest at their house. And I said, okay. But then I called her back and I said, I'm not going to do any videos. I'm not going to do any interviews. I'm not going to demonstrate. I'm not going to do nothing. And she said, that's fine. You know, whatever you want to do, come on out. And literally, I was followed all the way across the country. The vice president of the Church of Scientology was at the airport in Los Angeles. Some other people met me in Chicago, and some friends met me at 1:45 in the morning here at the Tampa airport, including 5 Scientologists, the Office of Special Affairs, 2 policemen, Stacy, Bob, and Jesse. And that is the first time I saw Bob Minton. And I literally spent I spent hours and hours and hours talking to Bob and meeting him and getting to know him. And I was amazed. It was totally shocking to me to find out what a good guy he was. It really was shocking to me and wonderful. 7 years ago on the internet, a person from the Office of Special Affairs tried to cancel a little website, a news group that these people had who'd left Scientology, and they were sort of talking about things they didn't like in the church, etc. And someone from OSA tried to cancel that group. And literally it had a shockwave around the world, and I've talked to people from all corners of the world who saw that and said, that's not okay. You know, we may not be Scientologists, but we are for freedom of speech. And we're going to stand here and insist that this continues. And Bob Minton was one of those people. And he has helped tons and tons of people. And I really want to thank you, Bob, for everything that you've done for me. You've definitely helped me. You know, people in Scientology, they are always promoting that they're not evaluative and they're very caring people, but the truth is they're extremely evaluative. And I was one of them the same. I thought, Lisa McPherson Trust, how could they possibly? They don't know Lisa McPherson. They could care less. They're just a bunch of people, religious bigots, everything else. But again, the truth is they're not. They're not religious bigots at all. They're people that very much care about freedom of speech, and they care about people that are in the Church of Scientology. Many of them, families call the trust saying that their children won't talk to them anymore and what should they do, and many, many different scenarios that happen in the trust. And the people here are here for that reason, to handle the negative things that happen within Scientology that are harmful and hurt people, and they're here standing up for that. And they're a very good group of people, and I really want to thank each one of them for helping me. My analogy in it, and I think it's true, when you're in Scientology, and I know for Scientologists this is going to be very hard to hear, but it's very similar to a battered women's syndrome, where you just keep going and going and going and thinking you're going to get better and better and better, and you're not. And finally you leave, and just like me, people disconnect from you overnight. You know, they don't want to talk to you because you left the Church of Scientology. You've gone from good, white, the greatest, to nothing. You're absolutely bad. Nobody wants to talk to you. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear your side. I mean, it's amazing. It really is. Hubbard says, dispose of them quietly and without sorrow. And I think I'd read that, but it didn't really hit me And people leave a lot of times in Scientology, but you don't really realize it because no one talks about it. They're just gone overnight. They might be the Senior CS International, which is like a big, top of the Scientology, someone who's helping, help all these people in what they're doing in their counseling, and he might be gone the next day. And for a second you're like, well, what happened to that guy? But then right away somebody else is there and you're just like, well, maybe he's off, on a mission or doing something. And the truth is he's gone. He left. I mean, a lot of people in Scientology, lots of people have left Scientology. Amazing amounts of people. Many of the original people in Scientology that helped Hubbard start Scientology are gone. They're no longer part of it. Because, and this is my feeling, I'm not going to speak for them, but for me, David Miscavige, after Hubbard died, took over the church and really changed tons of things, and not in a good way. And I think a lot of people said, we're done. We're not going to do that. Actually, people way before that, even when Hubbard was around, left also, but they're a different story.